Error 227 boiler Bosch, Buderus, Worcester, causes and fixes. If your Bosch, Buderus or Worcester Bosch boiler is showing error 227, the first thing to understand is that this is usually a flame detection or ignition fault. In simple words, the boiler is trying to light, but it cannot confirm a safe flame. On many Worcester Bosch boilers, you may see this as EA 227. On Buderus boilers, you may see 227, or sometimes a combination like 6A227, depending on the model and control display. The wording can change slightly between models, but the basic meaning is usually the same. No flame detected, no ionization signal after ignition, or flame signal lost during operation. And because the boiler cannot confirm the flame, it shuts itself down for safety. That safety lockout is important. The boiler is not just being annoying. It is stopping because it cannot prove that combustion is happening correctly. Now, before you do anything else, here is the safety warning. If you smell gas, do not reset the boiler. Do not keep trying to start it. Do not use electrical switches near the boiler. Ventilate the area if it is safe to do so, leave the property, and call your gas emergency number or a qualified gas professional. For a boiler fault like 227, you should only do simple external checks. Anything involving the gas valve, burner, electrodes, fan, flue, combustion settings, or anything inside the sealed boiler case must be done by a qualified heating engineer. In the UK, that means a gas-safe registered engineer. So let's go through the safe checks first. The first thing to check is the gas supply. Make sure the gas supply has not been turned off. If you have other gas appliances, like a gas hob, check whether they are working. If the other gas appliances are also not working, the problem may not be the boiler itself. It may be a gas supply issue, a meter issue, no credit on a prepayment meter, or a supply interruption. If you use a prepayment meter, check the credit and check whether the meter needs to be reset. Some smart meters can also stop supplying gas if there is a meter fault or battery issue, so it is worth checking the meter display. If the gas supply is working normally elsewhere in the home, then the boiler itself may be the problem. The second thing to check is whether the condensate pipe is frozen or blocked. This is especially common in cold weather. Many condensing boilers have a white plastic condensate pipe that carries acidic water away from the boiler. If part of that pipe runs outside and freezes, the boiler may fail to run properly and can lock out with an ignition or flame error. If it is freezing outside and your boiler suddenly shows 227, this is one of the first things to think about. If the external condensate pipe is safely accessible, you can try thawing it with warm water. Use warm water, not boiling water. Pour it slowly over the frozen section of the pipe. You may need to repeat this a few times. Do not use boiling water, a blowtorch, or an open flame. Once the pipe is thawed, reset the boiler according to the user manual and see whether it starts normally. If the error returns, stop and call a qualified engineer. The third thing to check is the boiler reset. A reset can sometimes clear a one-off lockout, especially if there was a temporary interruption in the gas supply or a short ignition failure. But do not keep resetting the boiler again and again. One reset is reasonable. Maybe a second attempt if you have corrected an obvious issue, like a frozen condensate pipe or a gas meter problem. But repeated lockouts mean the boiler is trying and failing for a reason. If error 227 comes back after resetting, the boiler needs proper diagnosis. Now let's talk about the common internal causes. One possible cause is a dirty or faulty flame sensing electrode, also called an ionization probe. The boiler uses this part to confirm that a flame is present. If it is dirty, damaged, badly positioned, or not reading correctly, the boiler may light briefly and then shut down because it cannot detect the flame. Another possible cause is an ignition electrode problem. If the boiler cannot create a reliable spark, it may not light at all. Another cause is a gas valve fault or poor gas pressure at the appliance. The boiler needs the right amount of gas at the right time. If the gas valve is sticking, incorrectly adjusted, or failing, the boiler may lock out with a 227 fault. But this is not a homeowner repair. Gas valve checks and gas pressure testing must be done by a qualified professional. The next possible cause is a blocked burner, dirty heat exchanger, or poor combustion. If the boiler has not been serviced for a long time, dirt, deposits, or incorrect combustion conditions can cause unreliable ignition or flame sensing problems. A blocked or restricted flue or air intake can also cause combustion problems. The boiler needs safe air supply and safe removal of combustion gases. If the flue is obstructed, incorrectly fitted, or affected by weather conditions, the boiler may shut down. Again, do not dismantle the flue or boiler case yourself. Another possibility is a wiring or control board issue. The electrode may be fine, the gas supply may be fine, but the boiler may still fail to read the flame signal correctly because of damaged wiring, moisture, a poor connection, or a fault on the control PCB. That is why error 227 can have several causes that look similar from the outside. From the display, all you know is that the boiler cannot safely confirm the flame. The reason may be gas supply, ignition, flame detection, condensate blockage, flue issue, or electronics. So what can you safely do as the homeowner? First, check whether you have gas supply to the property. Second, check the gas meter if you have one, especially if it is a prepayment or smart meter. Third, check whether the condensate pipe is frozen, especially during cold weather. Fourth, thaw the external condensate pipe only with warm water if it is safe to reach. Fifth, reset the boiler once after correcting an obvious issue. And sixth, if the fault returns, call a qualified engineer. Now, what should you not do? Do not remove the boiler cover if it exposes sealed combustion parts. Do not adjust the gas valve. Do not clean or bend electrodes unless you are qualified. Do not block or alter the flue. Do not keep resetting the boiler repeatedly. And do not ignore the error if it comes back. A repeated 227 fault is not just an inconvenience, it is a combustion safety fault, and the boiler is telling you that it cannot run safely. If the boiler is under warranty, contact the manufacturer or the installer for Worcester Bosch, Bosch, or Buderus appliances. Using an authorized service route may also protect the warranty. If the boiler is older, an annual service may reveal issues like dirty electrodes, blocked condensate trap, worn ignition parts, or poor combustion setup before the fault becomes frequent. So the short version is this. Error 227 usually means the boiler cannot detect a flame. On Worcester Bosch, it is often shown as EA 227. On Buderus, 227 usually points to no flame detected. The safe checks are gas supply, gas meter, frozen condensate pipe, and one reset. The unsafe checks are anything inside the boiler case, gas valve, burner, electrodes, flue, or PCB. If the code clears and does not come back, it may have been a temporary issue. But if error 227 returns, the boiler needs a qualified heating engineer. That is the safest way to understand and deal with error 227 on Bosch, Buderus, and Worcester Bosch boilers.